Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
Did he, in the part of real estate development, did he roll up the service companies the same way TK did?
No, he started from scratch. All the other companies, he started from scratch. All those, when he became a general contractor himself after the 3 bankruptcies, all the plumbing, the this, the that, and this, he started from scratch. I wouldn't have done that. I would have bought him. And a couple of the service companies, I don't know, a fourth cousin or somebody was involved. I got pissed off and disgusted about it, so I said, I'm not interested. And he still made quite a bit of money. Could have made quite a bit more. But I'm telling you, you guys still don't believe in your emotional bank. Well, you don't have any emotional bank accounts, so it's hard for you to understand it because you don't have any. You know, your penises have turned inside out. You laugh. Laughing is a coping mechanism for being a moron. We'll see. When Vito asked me, he says, nobody, and then I told him the Goomba brothers are from Vito's class. And I said, you and the Goombas are about it out of that class. And he said, you yelled the same things before. And I said, and they all came true, Mr. Peña. And he says, I know the kids won't believe you. Believe me, I've been doing this 30 plus years. I know they won't believe me. Because if you believe, there's only a couple of choices you have. I'll save that for tomorrow. But if you don't believe, kids, there's only one choice. And it's an ugly one. Because I've seen people that have had assets and money and cash flow, and it all, just like Bitfuck. How did I know about Bitfuck? Zero's not too far off. So if I were you, how can Bitcoin go to zero? PayPal uses it. JP Morgan makes a market in it. You're too stupid to ask yourself those questions. But I would ask myself those questions. How did the tulips go bankrupt from 1535 to 1537? How did that happen? How disjointed could the world be? Even though it's 500 years ago. Well, the world is going toward that end of the disjointed now. Boys and girls going to the same bathroom, and I can go on and on and on and on. When that I may be alive when that 1,000-foot thing hits us. Oh God, I'll be so fucking happy. I won't know whether to shit or go blind. And my wife says, you shouldn't be so happy everybody's going to lose all their money. Probably not, honey. I shouldn't be happy, but I am. My favorite story is when I'm talking to bankers about 401ks, and because they turned about 15, 20 years ago, your pension to yourself. So you allegedly manage them in what's called 401ks. Still called that, right? Okay. So they gave the senior bank guys the ability to manage your own money, which is a classic error. But anyway, that's because these guys don't know shit. The QLA seminar is not just a seminar. It is a blueprint for creating generational wealth as fast as humanly possible. I teach you how to turn nothing into millions, billions, and even trillions. If you want to take control of your life, to create a legacy that lasts for generations, the time is now. Do not wait for the right moment. The right moment is this moment. Be bold, be selfish, be ruthless, and take no prisoners. I will still do seminars, but I won't be able to do this forever. Act now or not at your own peril. Thank you very much. Who's my 530? 6:30. Any other questions? Well, you can ask me a couple questions about Marcus now. But, I mean, he's and his wife who came, who, a lovely lady, a financial professional from Deloitte, not dissimilar to my own wife's background in accounting. Now, she said that this is much more politely than I'm saying, is a license to steal. And she says, and the accountants and our lawyers are never going to recommend it for the reasons I told you. There's no fees, especially since it's been around a couple hundred years. Any comments about Marcus? By the way, he spends 3 to 5 hours a day on the treadmill. He works from the treadmill with a laptop. He doesn't have time to exercise, and so he spends 3 to 5 hours a day. We've got a few guys up there that spend 3 to 5 hours a day on the treadmill. And the optimum speed, not for me, is about 4 kilometers an hour to be able to work, talk. That's too fast for me. I can do it at about 3 kilometers an hour. Because when my feet hit the ground, it's like my feet feel like they're in shoe boxes. That's what it feels like because I don't have the sensitivity. But we're going to go through tomorrow what the big hitters do, how they, not so much how they structure their day, because now with Zoom, which I don't like, a lot of their meetings that they would have had in person, they're now on Zoom calls. Or I know there's 2 or 3 other systems other than Zoom. And even myself, I have countless meetings during the week on Zoom, because a lot of the businesses I run, I spend an hour a week with the CEOs, Kat and I know where the positive vibes, if that's the right word, the positive vibes are going to come through from the guys, and the negative ones. And it's all how you start the business, because leadership is like shit, rolls downhill. And some of the guys are just, doing terrific, and some of them are suffering from the same, illnesses, if you want to call it that have interjected over the years. But Marcus is still doing terrific, and he's going to stay in real estate. But those 5 years are up about now where he can exit. Another thing he did, he land banked. Okay, the council said the city's moving this way. So he took 5,000 acres this way. Or the city's moving this way, he took 500 acres this way. With the idea that he's going to rule or get the city planners to approve, and the city didn't move those ways. So he's got 10 million, no, he doesn't have 10,000 acres that he paid for, with the hope that the city's going to move that way. And maybe that's changed. Yes, sir.
Does he only buy land? Does he only buy land, or does he buy existing properties?
No, he does it all the above. Rehabs, not dissimilar to TK. He's gotten some awards for some of the buildings that he's designed and built. And he hasn't started his green efforts because he doesn't much believe in the green shit. And there's a lot of money for green shit. Then, I'm not sure anybody checks to see if he made any money on the green shit. But he's, he's done well, though. He just sees the contemporaries that he's growing up with, so to speak, that are all gazillionaires. And that sticks in his craw. I would rather have everybody like him, and not as many gazillionaires. And the numbers would be a law of large numbers, because a bunch of you would make a bigger dent on my totals. And the difference between, to you guys now, with 1 or 2 exceptions, the difference between 200 million and 2 billion, there is no difference. sound, but it just isn't. There is no difference. And you go to heaven or hell, wherever you're going, a happy person. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
What is the reason he didn't form a board?
Because he didn't want to give away shares. That's the big, shares and control. Kind of a mixture for him. But he now knows it's a mistake. Took him 10 years to figure, took me 10 minutes, took him 10 years, yeah.
Am I right saying that the main core of QLA is forming the right board?
This is the second time you've asked me this. Do you realize that? I have a photographic memory. I know you asked me the exact same question 2.5 days ago. And it's even more finite than that. You will not survive the first bullets in your battle because you're going to pick the wrong chairman. A chairman can take care of the board while you're in a coma. Your pastor, your rabbi, your whatever can't. It will not, a war plan, just like a fight plan with Tyson until he hits you in the face, doesn't survive the first bullet. Because all that's theory. And but you're right, not the board, it's the chairman. It all starts with he or she or it. He, she, or it. And Josh Kim, 24 board members. He's not the only one. Vito didn't talk about his catastrophes with his board. But almost all the kids make the same mistake. They pick people, I told you, that are like you. And you might as well just put a gun in your mouth. They won't cut it. They just won't. You need an animal. Whether it's wearing a skirt or not, you need somebody tough. And the board members run like lemmings off a cliff. But I've had senior guys as senior as me have a nervous breakdown. Right in the middle of the deal of your lifetime. When you put all the chips in, like in the James Bond deal, and the guy has a nervous breakdown. And everything goes away. So all the planning, like your 40% that's over here floating around, all the planning goes to caca, as my grandson used to say. So even when you do all the planning right, you can lose everything. That's what makes it exciting. Now, you won't think that. I can just see him repossessing your wife's cars and shit like that. And like Ken Hanna told me, he says, Dan, all I need is 2 limos for life. And I'll do whatever he asks me. Because his limo had been taken away from her when it was repossessed. Not because he went bankrupt, because the company, when they threw him out. And you should have somebody on the board that's been thrown out. Because that's a different experience. That's a different journey. Sandy Weil, if I remember correctly, back in the day, I think he's still alive. I'm not sure he's still alive. Okay. I forget where they tossed him out of. But he trained a bunch of big-time guys. Okay. And they not always. They go from the penthouse to the shithouse, below the shithouse. Because a lot of these guys, like myself, are vindictive. It's not enough to just fucking crush you financially. They want to do more than that. I know that feeling because, that runs through my veins. And a lot of the guys are a lot worse than me. Okay, YouTube.